So, hey guys, I've been saying this for a while. A lot of these cards can go to 3. So, new ban list update. We're seeing Heavy Storm to 1, and then Snatch Steel to 3, and there's nothing else really happening here. So, if we're looking at more restricting, like kind of a nerf kind of like ban list or forbidden limited list, this is a bit of a mouthful, so I say ban list. But all right, so right now, I don't think there's anything like super important to hit aside from like floodgates, which are always welcome to be hit in general. Like summon limit, we can hit that. Kaiser Coliseum, we could hit that. Wouldn't really be that upset about that. But yeah, aside from that, Heavy Storm, Snatch Steel, these cards coming back, they don't really mean anything. Like, if you think about what Snatch Steal does, sure, it takes the monster for the rest of the turn, or not rest of the turn, for as long as Snatch Steal is equipped onto that, like, monster, right? But, what does this realistically change? We already have, like, uh, mind control, brain control, change of heart. So, I mean, throw in Snatch Steal, and it's like, well, I mean, does this make that much of a difference? I don't think so. Heavy Storm is not going to make much of a difference unless you're playing like maybe Unchained. Then you can pop your own back row with the Heavy Storm. Aside from that, I can't really think of any deck that really wants to pop their own back row, right? Like Telement, I guess, might enjoy popping their own back row a bit. But I mean, as actual just like back row removal, that this isn't that much better than a Duster. And Duster, like, just could come back to 3, and I don't think anyone would care. Because, it's best of 1, Master Duel format. So if you're against, like, I don't know, any deck that doesn't play, like, 5 back row, like, literally just set 5 pass, there is no reason for you to ever want those copies of Duster in your deck. And even then, right, there are cards like Hugin that exist. So if it's, like, Runic Stun, you can only have so much back row removal. And Fountain draws as well. So if you really think about it and your opponent has something like a regained, then they can technically like stop your Heavy Storm or Duster like 3-4 times in one turn. It would take a pretty insane hand, I guess, to do 5, but yeah. I seriously don't think this makes any difference at all. Also worth mentioning, I guess, is that we're going to be getting a new selection pack, which, I mean, I don't really understand what these cards are. They don't look that good. So we have Spell Card, Monster Reborn. Quick Effect. Target one monster in either graveyard special summon into your field, but for the rest of this turn it cannot attack and neither player can activate its effects. What is the point of this card? I mean, this card is going to be somewhat playable, I guess. And yeah. So what you can do, I guess, is it says it cannot attack and neither player can activate its effects. But that is referring to like the specific card you kind of just summoned from the graveyard. So if we use the Atlantis, this has some synergy with the Atlantis, so we can just bring back whatever and then just use its effect. And it's only for the turn as well, so that means the next turn you would be able to actually use whatever monster's effect. So this card, now that I'm looking at it, this card is a lot better than you might expect, simply because this is like a quick effect, Monster Reborn. So, like in Telements, for example, this isn't going to be like extremely crazy. Like if we do chain 1 Haveness in the graveyard effect, and then chain 2 there's like a Called by or Bestial, and then we Monster Reborn spell card Monster Reborn that Haveness back, then the Haveness effect will not happen, I believe, will it? Or will it still happen? I believe it does happen, right? Yeah. Let's see. Haveness. It just needs to shuffle itself back. It doesn't care about the location, does it? Actually, I think it does say shuffle this card from your graveyard. Yeah. It specifically says that the Tailorman girls have to be from the graveyard, but I guess there is like a situation where this might come out where you could do something instead, like Solic to send or something after you like spell card Monster Reborn a card back for like a Solic. So that's like maybe it could come up, but I guess that's not the best example. So maybe in Fire King this would be better because you can just put a guy on field and then if it gets destroyed, it triggers. So that might be a play. But the important play that I really care about is the fact that you can use this to bring back extenders to do link plays, and you can also do the Atlantis thing to like unnegate a card, and that's just surface level stuff. The most impactful thing that Spellcard Monster Reborn does is that it plays heavily around Called by the Grave. So in this case, let's assume I have like IP Masquerena on my end board, and then uh I went first, of course, so I drop Maxi in the standby phase. My opponent attempts to called by the Maxi, then I will special summon Maxi to my field. So it is now also link material for my IP to make either SB or Apollosa, and then my opponent is down on the called by and my Maxi resolves. So that is probably the type of usage that Spell Card Monster Reborn can be best used for. Just essentially dodging uh targeted effects in the graveyard or things like that in general. That's probably the best option, right? And then we have like these complete garbage cards I don't understand, like Ace Spade Speculation. This has battle protection, or it can gain the highest original attack among monsters your opponent controls, your choice of type. And this actually needs to be polyed for. It also has an effect that allows it to summon itself back from the graveyard. I literally don't see any deck that would play this for any reason. Then we have Dragon Master Magia here. Dragon Master Magia is not that bad to summon, surprisingly enough, because we could just kind of somewhat cheat this out by sending the listed cards on this to the graveyard. The other option is just, let's see, we need either Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or 3 Blue Eyes Monsters, and then a Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual Monster. So I believe a Blackluster Ritual Monster or whatever is the easiest thing to probably get out. So let's assume we do this. So we summon a Black Soldier Ritual Monster. Then for Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, um, we could use some kind of substitute, and that would be a okay way to kind of like cheat this out, kind of, right? And then we get this effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you negate the activation. If you destroy that card, you can only use this effect of Dragon Master Magia in response to each card type once per turn. So you get 3 negates, 1 monster, 1 spell, 1 trap. If this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster or Chaos or Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster from either your extra deck or graveyard. So I mean, if you get this onto the field, it's certainly a card. But I mean, generally speaking, a lot of decks, well, don't care that much about Magia. So the thing that is lacking about this card specifically is that a lot of decks actually play mostly focused on one card type, so monster, spell, or trap. Like for example, with let's say Snake Eye Fire King, it'll be mostly monster and sometimes spell, but there will be hands where it's just like all monsters and they're barely using spells unless they are searched. And in which case they would still be able to do some like link climbing to get into things. This also has like no protection or anything, despite being like pretty hard to make, just generally speaking. So the fact that this must be fusion summon means we have to use some kind of fusion summon method, and then after that, we need the proper material. So this is pretty brutal to make still, even if you're like cheating out, like just relatively hard, right? That this is going to require like probably some garnets, without a doubt, right? So that is a bit annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. Unless there's like going to be some new card that makes fusion summoning this a little bit easier, but I don't think this is really going to happen. I guess there's not much going on here, right? So, th th like, the odds of Monster Spell and Trap being negated in the same turn, I just don't see this happening. So, yeah, not that great of a card. Then Wing Kuriboh level 6. Is this card new? I think this might be. Alright. Yeah, okay. Can't be normal summon slash set, must be special summon for your hand or graveyard. Oh, hand or graveyard. By bashing an elemental hero fusion monster or one wing Kuriboh from your hand. You know what? Okay. From your face of field or graveyard, you can only special summon this once per turn, and then let's see this effect. Your opponent activates a monster effect on the field or declares an attack. Tribute this card, destroy that one monster, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. This is a generic monster negate. This is actually a little bit interesting because a lot of the time you have elemental hero, what's his face? You summon him a lot. Uh, can't remember his name right now. The guy that searches the fusion, whatever his name is he not an elemental hero? Whatever that spell was called, the one that allows you to banish from the graveyard, Miracle Fusion, right? That Well, the guy that searches that, I guess, like, you might be able to banish him if he is indeed an elemental hero, like I think he is. Elemental hero Sunrise sounds about right. So, uh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you could banish that, and then you just get a monster negate, but I don't know how you would get Wing Kuriboh to begin with. Unless you could kind of, like, send this guy to the graveyard somehow consistently, I mean, there must be a way to do it, so... This is just going to be a Garnet, though, which is going to be kind of awkward. So, yeah, that's about all that's going to be happening this week, I guess. And this is going to be available on the 28th, so shouldn't be that long, I guess. And this says other cards will be included, but I mean, most people won't really care. So this is a good time for a lot of us to like save up gems and kind of just skip this selection, and we're just vibing. The only thing that's like super promising and kind of interesting to me is like the spell card monster reborn. It doesn't really say the rarity, does it? Oh wait, it does, right? Yeah, ultra. So there are certain decks that might really like this because it can be used as an extender and to dodge called by. Certain decks really hate called by, and this can kind of help with that a little bit. So yeah. That's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.